Endless multiverse, endless multiverse, endless multiverse, episode 27. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Endless Multiverse, episode 27, with your co-host Chainsaw Reacts and Andy. We have a lot, and when I'm saying a lot, I mean a lot of things to talk about tonight. We're not going to try to rush through each thing, but understand that there's a lot of stuff we have to get to, because literally by Wednesday we had a number of stuff we were planning on discussing. Of course, we set the StreamYard up and get everything ready, get the thumbnail, and then literally today, boom, 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 all this stuff just started dropping. We're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that was it was insane. Like I mean, I figured like things like that would maybe like one or two more things, but it feels like today was just news dump day, just to get so much out there. So we do have a lot to talk about, and again, I wasn't even sure I was gonna have time to finish all the overlays, stuff like that, so yes. we got a lot going. So do we want to queue up our favorite British?
Oh yes, I mean, because as you guys know, we never start a show without the one, the only Constantine. Constantine, take it away, sir.
All right then. On with the show.
On with the show.
One of these days, I'm gonna get a freaking lighter and just do it myself.
You should.
I'm just afraid I'm gonna burn up my apartment or something. I'm not really that responsible with stuff.
So we are starting with some DC news that came out. I believe this was Wednesday when this news dropped. Maybe it was yesterday, Thursday. I can't remember. But we have some news regarding
2 days ago.
Okay, so we have some news from the Hollywood Reporter and Deadline regarding Aquaman 2, of course, and Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom, and Shazam: Fury of the Gods. And we got this cool artwork from James Wan when the news came out. So essentially, this is what's happening. Shazam: Fury of the Gods and Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom will be pushed back. Shazam will now be moved from December 16th of this year to March 17th, 2023, while Aquaman is being delayed until Christmas of next year, 2023. Aquaman still requires some post-production work. I think James Wan at CinemaCon also said during his portion of the panel that he wasn't even sure if the film was going to meet the release date, which is interesting. Also, Shazam was moved to avoid competition with Avatar 2. This was a big thing going on for the last number of weeks about so what's going to do better, Shazam or Avatar 2? Plus, it had came out that Avatar 2 had got up all the IMAX screenings. So Shazam: Fury of the Gods, if it would have released at the time it was originally released at the end of December, it would have no IMAX screenings to get because James Cameron got all of them. So this is interesting news. I think it kind of goes to show that there's a lot of post-production work still to be done, and competition in theaters is a thing, because think back on Captain America Civil War, Batman vs. Superman. They had the same release date at one point, and so one had to move. So post-production work is a major thing now. More and more movies require lots of post-production, especially Aquaman. That's a lot. I mean, you see the first Aquaman, you see how much work had to go into that in post-production. I'm pretty sure James Wan probably went bigger and grander in this film. That's just my guess, and probably even needs more work in post-production. So he gets a lot more time to do that. For Shazam, the director seems like he's happy with it, because he doesn't want to compete with Avatar 2, and he wants IMAX screenings. He said that he couldn't get IMAX screenings, and he's happy for that now. Yeah. So overall, it's unfortunate for us having to wait longer, but that just gives us more time to see other content, to watch other stuff. It's eventually
it's a busy fall. It's a freaking busy fall.
This is true. The next couple of weeks and months are going to be pretty intense, and next year is going to be even more tense because things are starting to get kind of back to normal after the last number of years of being really up in the air in terms of movie release dates and things happening. So you're going to start seeing more stuff come out, and there's going to be more delays of things that's going to happen. But until we get back to some sort of normalcy, there's going to be more of this happening. But what do you think of this news, Andy, that we're getting these delays?
It's disappointing. I was especially excited to see, like Black Adam and Shazam back to back almost, like with 1 or 2 months in between each other. But I feel that, hey, I don't want such an amazing movie to have to go up against something like Avatar, because listen, I don't really care for Avatar. I've never seen the first one. I don't really care for James Cameron that much.
I haven't seen it either. No.
So I and I also, like, I'm speculating now, like it wouldn't shock me if maybe some of the Marvel VFX controversies may be kind of raise the balls a little bit. I'm like, like, if it's not fully ready, should we even release it then? But now at least, at least they get to, to get all the time in the world for both films. So the movies are still happening, and that's good to know. But I also, there's one thing you and I talked about, I think last night or yesterday, was the whole notion of that the reason they're also pushing back the film a little bit, partially for Shazam, is that apparently Warner Bros. Discovery can't afford more than 2 more movies for the year. From Boris Kett, who works at the Hollywood Reporter, it's like, so they're just like casting everything else, just like, here's the money so we can put out these 2 films. I don't know if it's that exaggerated, but it's like, again, like
is it for saving money, or they actually just don't have it right now because they've been paying back so much debt?
The quote that Boris posted as a follow-up to his story was, the moves underscore what a financial mess Warner Bros. Discovery is, as the studio has only enough cash to release 2 movies from now to the end of this year, with Don't Worry Darling and Black Adam. So I understand that, and again, like the previous regimes for, and not just, the AT&T era, but also, what was before, there's, I get that people are not, like, David Zaslav is not someone that people love right now. And I understand why. There's some good reasons for that, but I also think that this is sadly what happens with mergers. They have to, it is very much damage control in other ways. So, but I'm hoping this is the final delays we have for both films. I still feel it's like very extreme that we have to wait till December next year for Aquaman. I was like, couldn't we have done November? But then I realized, okay, so it would be Flash in June, Blue Beetle in August, and then Aquaman in November. It would be like almost like just like only 1.5 months in between each other. So like it's like, it's one of those things where I think that we know, we get why this is happening, but also it's like, it's not something to completely love either way.
Yeah,
but
it's just frustrating, is what it is. But some of it is,
we have Black Adam next month, so that will be great.
Which apparently is going to start a whole new thing. Who knows?
But with that said, we're going to move on to the next topic with Batgirl, the movie that just Batgirl. So there's been a lot of stories about Batgirl this week. So one part comes from the directors themselves, Adil and Bilal, who of course also directed Miss Marvel episodes. There was some confusion in a French interview that had that they cleared up then on their Instagram page, where initially the translation came off as that the movie had been deleted from the servers. That's not what happened. It was that they were blocked from accessing it once they learned the news. And so it is, like the movie, I mean, the movie of course still exists, but it's not like, once it was canceled, a lot of access was revoked. And then of course the latest news about like if you're in Los Angeles and near the Warner Bros. Studio, like I hope you were able to run to that Warner Bros. lot, because according to the Hollywood Reporter, Batgirl was Warner Bros. Were holding secret screenings of the film on the lot, with people who worked on the film being invited, casting crew, insiders, and so on, to be able to see the film before it gets essentially locked away, not deleted, just locked away, because they have to because it's for a tax write-down, they have to be able to show what is they're asking for tax write-down. If they delete it, then there's like, what are you going to ask a tax write-down for? But sources that were associated with the screenings described it as funeral screenings, which just makes the whole situation even more sad. What are your, after everything this week, how are you feeling about all this?
It's just really unfortunate that this is happening. I think at the end of the day, I think it's better than nothing to let the cast and crew and some insiders see the film. But obviously what we've heard also well from the directors, that the film is not even close to being done. So they're seeing an unfinished film. So they're not even seeing a closer, like they're just seeing a cut. They're not seeing the actual finished product. People are joking online saying, leak it, somebody go and leak it. Like, it's not going to happen, unfortunately.
If it does, then they will. I mean,
they'll
will be
know.
charged.
They will know who did it. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people didn't end up going, because I mean, why would you go back there to kind of watch a film that they're not even releasing? I mean, if it was me, I personally wouldn't want to go. I mean, because they're not releasing it. They're literally getting a tax write down on a thing that they worked on. I personally wouldn't go, but obviously I'm not the people who actually worked on the film. I'm only somebody who was wanting to see it. But it's unfortunate, but at least they're getting to see a cut, but then they can't share it. You know, they can't share it with everyone else to kind of judge it themselves. At this point, I'm ready to not learn. I'm just ready for it to be done, because I'm tired. Because I'm just getting it makes me more mad, because this whole situation is ridiculous. Because we've been hearing more and more about the test screenings of the film, and that apparently it was testing as well as Black Adam, but Black Adam got to fix its issues, but Batgirl did not. So that just kind of goes to show where things are right now. And hearing more about The Rock, even though The Rock's great, but hearing more about he has all these plans for Black Adam and all this stuff, I'm like, eh.
I mean, I think he's excited to look at this as like a franchise going forward. Because at the end of the day, Black Adam, it's not, it's not his IP. He doesn't own it. So I think I think we will start learning more about what's going on. Towards not September. The movie comes in October. Yep. That's when it comes out. So, but yeah, it's. I think the best thing that would come out of all of this, because I know there was one of the actresses for the movie, she had put out this very beautiful letter to David Zaslav about trying to plead to get the movie still out there. The best thing at this point that could happen is that, the reports that about Leslie Grace, being eyed to appear as Batgirl somewhere else, in the DCU. I think that would be. They have the suit, they have a talented actors they obviously love working with. So it's just, like it would. I honestly wonder what would have happened if this movie had been like, if it had been conceived as a theatrical movie initially, and then the merger happened. I wonder if it still would have stuck, because maybe then they would like justify like, oh, this is why they have the budget they have, so, and the movie would probably be a little bigger in terms of like just scope, whatever. But it's I'm looking forward to not having to like focus anymore on background news, because every time there's something about it just makes the whole situation more sad. And we feel for everyone who worked on that film, and it's I'm hoping Leslie and even other cast members, maybe they will show up somewhere else, but it's just so much work that's now like just gone to waste. And again, it's like, I think the thing that makes me most pissed about it is that like they did this all under, the pandemic, which again, like they risked their lives. Again, everyone was paid, of course, in the end. But it's like, it's even more crucial to get to have your work seen during these tough times, because people are risking their lives. Like they're making, whether it's people working 16 episodes of The Flash every year, or if it's someone doing a feature film, whatever. So they're risking their lives a lot. Yeah, I don't know what else we can say about it. It's just it's just sad. But I hope people who people who want to go see it, that wouldn't shock me at all if it happens at this point. But speaking of Marvel, what a good segue, Jordan.
I was actually going to bring this up because we got a super chat from Scott about saying Aquaman would have been against Blade in November if it would have been November, but it's still kind of competing with Blade if it comes out in December. So, I mean,
we have to remember Aquaman is also a bigger character, and also like I feel like Jason Momoa and Mahershala Ali, they're both pretty big stars. So I think Aquaman having already the advantage of having a following already in movies, we haven't seen Blade since whenever the third one came out,
2000 something, it
was years ago.
And also point about the lame PR attempt, it actually made it worse. Like this didn't really do anything to help make things better. Like it just felt like once that phrase "funeral screening" came out, that just kind of made it worse. But speaking of Marvel, as we were talking about the Aquaman Blade thing for that super chat.
And spoiler alert for everyone.
Spoilers for She-Hulk episode 2. blink and you'll miss it. But here we go, guys. So like I said, She-Hulk spoilers, episode 2 in 3, 2, 1. You have been warned. So we had Jennifer looking on her computer, and this popped up far away on the screen, so you had to really look at it. There is an article, actually 2 article titles here. Man fights with metal claws in bar brawl. As you can see, it's obviously referencing Cyclops. I'm kidding, Wolverine. And then also, people have been complaining since Eternals last year. Why has the MCU no place since that film has come out? Why have they not referenced the Celestial coming out of the ocean? Well, guess what? They have. Why? There is a giant statue of a man sticking out, and it's not a man. But still, they're referencing Eternals. But the main thing we're discussing here, of course, is the Wolverine Easter egg. Now, I think this should be very clear. This is not confirmation that Wolverine is showing up in She-Hulk or Wolverine showing up in the MCU in a year or 2. This is a little Easter egg, but it implies that Logan is out there. What do you think of this news, Andy? Because I think this is pretty interesting.
It's cool. I mean, I missed it the first time, but I think it's nice that, like, because for me, I've always tried to think, like, how in what way are they gonna bring in the mutants into the MCU? Like, people have been speaking that it's like either gonna be through the multiverse, which I'm like, I don't know if like that would be such a like very lazy way to do that. Like, suddenly, like, just a portal opens and like all these millions of mutants just falls into like the falling angel is almost
Jackman just walks out.
exactly, yeah. So like, no, I think that what we're gonna, I think the way, I mean, again, this Easter egg is very cool, and I think what we're gonna start to see more is that mutants has been among us this whole time. There just hasn't been a word for it yet. Like maybe that's a big role that Kamala will play. With her being, like the first mutant we have in the MCU that we know. Like she is a mutant. So I think it was very funny. Just like, I'm like, yeah, that's something Logan would totally do. But yeah, at this point I don't expect X-Men characters to show up until phase 7. I do expect to see just like characters like maybe like they introduce now being mutants instead of like something else. Like they I'm trying to think of like like a fun example like let's say if they introduced someone that maybe was another character who used to be an Inhuman, maybe they're revamping it to be like a mutant or something. But it's cool to know that they're obviously out there. Like Professor X and all those people are already out there. But but for me, because Fox kind of like just exhausted me with all the X-Men stuff towards the end, I don't mind waiting until like we'll have Deadpool 3 at some point. And then, I think we can go from there kind of slowly. But I think phase 7 is more natural for the next saga to make the mutants a bigger part. How do you feel about all of it?
I think the Wolverine thing is interesting. I think this is their way of kind of showing how they're going to go about teasing and Easter egging with mutants, because I feel like they're with how that was worded. And just kind of like thinking about Logan just traveling alone, getting in bar fights. The X-Men are not probably a thing. Like there is no X-Men. Like he's just on his own right now, And we're probably going to see the origins of the X-Men team in the first Mutants film. I wouldn't be surprised if we get introduced to some mutants before phase 7. So before the end of Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, but probably not a full-on Mutants film or like a full-on focus until phase 7, which is rumored, as we know, anyways, about what the next phase is going to be or the next saga. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they do. But I mean, I think this kind of.
I think you're right, though. I mean, a Mutants movie has to be like. You know what? Maybe that's how they start out phase 7. Like, imagine like a big way to after those big 2 Avengers movies, like phase 7. I just don't. When I saw like the name like the Mutants, I'm like, guys, we have fucking X-Men. It's the better title. Fucking use that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised they call it Xavier School. Something kind of in relating to that. I'm not really sure. And also with Scott about his super chat. Thank you so much about responding to saying it was a really short episode this week. It was a shorter episode for sure. And everyone's this would be a sitcom. It's also very comic book panel pacing. I get that. I mean, it is a sitcom, but also think too, it could have been longer. Like if you look at the runtime of the actual episode versus the credits, about about almost 1/3 of the episode is credits, like lengthwise, and that's not good. I think because if you look at episode 1, it was 38 minutes. Obviously, it wasn't 38 minutes total footage, but it was like more of the 30-minute range of the episode. This one was in the low 20s, and that's not good. Like I saw the difference when I loaded up that Thursday morning. 38 minutes episode 1, 31 minutes episode 2. I'm like, oh crap. I mean, I was happy because it was less thing I had to edit down, but at the same time, it's like it's a shorter episode. It's building proper tension with the DODC. I don't know.
The Department of Damage Control.
Oh, that's possible.
I just like damage control. It's like that's like Department of Damage Control. That's a mouthful.
I think they might be tying into She-Hulk because with her going to court and everything, I feel like that's definitely going to tie in. Yeah. I mean, Ms. Marvel heavily dealt with damage control, so I feel like they're probably going to be involved with She-Hulk too. That's probably not a bad idea.
But you know what's so funny though with damage control is like this is not what even damage control does in the comics. They're like an insurance company or something. Like they're basically making damage control like almost like the villainous version of Shield, and it's like first of all, where is Sword in all of this? Like,
I wouldn't be surprised if Sword doesn't make another appearance until the Marvels.
That would
or Secret Invasion because of Nick Fury.
Which comes first, Secret Invasion or the Marvels?
Secret Invasion, I think. Yeah. Yes, Secret Invasion, I think early next year. I think the Marvels is in the middle of next year.
I have the image in front of me. So we're gonna have Secret Invasion will be spring 2023, and then the Marvels is in the summer. So yeah, that would be.
I bet Secret Invasion ties into Marvels. I bet it literally goes right in because I think Nick Fury is confirmed to be in the Marvels and he's in Secret Invasion. I bet it ties in. Just take a wild shot in the dark there.
I mean, let me see. No, he's in it. He is in it.
So I think it will lead right in. Yeah,
but we will we'll see what happens in the next episode. Episode 2 was good. It was good. It was fun. Now
somebody was 10 steps ahead in that episode.
Oh, I listen when he should. I was like, "Oh my god, Jordan is fanboying."
The first thing I said when he walked in is like, "He's 10 steps ahead of all of us." And then when he had the little, and here's a little diagram to take you to the bathroom, the best bathroom to poop in, and it cut away. I'm like, "Thanks, Prometheus."
Yeah,
I love that one little scene, just one little thing.
Well, we're gonna go back to DC, and now this is a little more good news now. Like, thank God. I mean, hallelujah.
Actually, good news.
Yeah. So, Deadline reported that Dan Lin, who is you've probably seen his name in a lot of thing. He was a former Warner Brothers executive, but he has worked on films like the Lego movies, like including the Lego Batman movie. He also was an executive producer on some of the recent Godzilla movies, Aladdin, the Sherlock Holmes movies, and he, according to Deadline, he is hearing that he is being eyed for the top spot at DC Films as the new head of DC Films. They may have finally found their new Kevin Feige, and it was also added in from the Hollywood Reporter that if okay, so I'm gonna read from what the Hollywood Reporter said so that everyone can just know what is being said out there. Dan Lin, the executive turned producer who counts hits such as the live-action Aladdin, the Lego movie, and the It horror movies among his credits, is in talk to take the role of DC's chief. Multiple sources tell the Hollywood Reporter the role would encompass overseeing not just film but television as well, with Lin reporting directly to Warner Bros. Discovery David Zaslav, according to sources. Now, what this would mean, just so that when they say directly to Warner, to David Zaslav, that means that he would be above Michael De Luca and Pam Abdi, who are the heads of Warner Bros. Pictures, and also he would be surpassing Channing Dungey, who is the Warner Bros. TV chairwoman, who took over after Peter Roth left, and also he would be above HBO Max and HBO Max chief Casey Bloys, which, wow, that last name sounds like something completely different, but I'm not going to repeat it because it sounds dirty. So he would basically be above, it's basically almost similar to Jordan. Remind me, Kevin Feige was reporting directly to Bob Iger instead of
He went to Alan Horn. He went to Alan Horn instead of going to Ike Perlmutter, which is what he was doing for a number of years, and that's why he almost left because of Ike.
Now, the proposed structure would, like I said, would bypass all those and put control of DC in the hands of one person. Now, when they say DC in the hands of one person, they mean DC TV and films. Comics is not really referenced here because I believe Jim Lee is still the chief creative officer over there. Walter Hamada, the current head of DC Films, would transition out of the role, according to multiple sources. Warner insiders said that no negotiations are taking place and no official offer has been made, although other sources say that parties are discussing salary reporting structure and the future of Lynn's prolific production company, Rideback. Oh, Rideback. That's a good name for a production company. If any deal does close, it would cap off one of the most intense executive searches in recent memory, one that faced scrutiny by rival Hollywood producers and executives as well as DC fans. Also, there were rumblings about Amy Pascal, Matt Tolmach, Sean Bailey, and Greg Berlanti, but it looks like we have a front runner, and I am very happy about this. If a deal is locked, I think he has worked on some very good, successful movies, and he's also been an executive before, because that's the thing. I think the whole purpose they wanted someone who had kind of a little bit of both, kind of an understanding for filmmaking, but also someone that can kind of like get that things cost money, like hair, they wanted someone a bit both worlds. So I think this would be great, and also because listen, I mean, I think everyone knows pretty much by now that I do not like Walter Hamada, and I think it's time for him to head out the door. But yeah, Danlin, he's cool. He was actually supposed to work on Justice League Mortal, George Miller's Justice League movie back in 2007, I think. And then the Writers Guild of America happened, and then the movie got canceled for other reasons, so on. So it's kind of coming full circle. Are you a fan? Are you a fan of this potential frontrunner?
I've never heard of him until this came about. I have no idea who he was. But when you look at his resume and what he's actually done, it actually makes sense. And my guess is this: David Zaslav just made a lot of shit decisions, but he made it very apparent during the Warner Brothers Discovery investors call. He wanted to have a 10-year plan. He wanted DC to be the focus, even though he shit the bed on some stuff. Anyways, so I'm guessing with anybody that they were talking to, they knew going in what it was for, and they probably were asked, what are some of your ideas for stuff you would want to do? Because the thing is, if this decision is made with him or with someone else, but it looks like it's going to be him, this is putting a lot of faith into one individual that has experience, yes, but there is potential it could shit the bed, and it would look even worse on David Zaslav making this choice. But he's proven that he's done some good stuff. He's worked on some stuff. He has a good resume. People are even already saying that since he did work with George Miller, of course, the Justice League Mortal that ultimately got canceled, George Miller's still making movies. Could try to bring him back. Who knows? I mean, he's filming a movie right now. George Miller's shooting right now a movie. So I don't know. People are also mentioning, does this pretty much imply that he could do whatever he wants? No, because he still has to answer to David Zaslav. He still has to answer to some people and the board.
Yeah, the board director. It's not like he's gonna be able to
he can't just do whatever he wants.
Yeah, he has to be approved by
But don't be surprised if he comes in and makes some major changes that we're not going to be fans of, because he may
face spinoff.
Yes, he might come in and literally use David Zaslav's axe and axe a lot of stuff that we were thinking was going to happen, and then he goes about a new direction. Jason Momoa, of course, was asked about in terms of getting axed. He literally grabs his axe and he points at him and points at me as, take this axe and go to work. So Jason Momoa, of course, was asked about this whole 10-year plan in DC, and he has utmost faith that they'll make the right choice. There's a possibility we don't get Aquaman 3 with him. You never know. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. Right now, we're just kind of speculating, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get the concern, though.
Yeah, I mean, because we just don't know how it's going to go, but he may surprise us. He may surprise us. He may come in and see what's, because the best thing he could do is the smart choice. Come in, see what's working, see what is in the upcoming slate of projects that are coming TV and film, and see what works. Because necessarily he doesn't have to reboot anything. He can just come in and just make decisions. And so it may be the right choice. But I'm getting they're gonna solidify that this is the right guy, because because this would look so bad on them if this backfires. So they have to make it. I think this is even a bigger choice than something we'll talk about later with another filmmaker. This is a bigger decision.
Yeah, no, I what I was gonna add was because I think that your concerns are so valid, because I think this is like, we want to be excited for DC again. We don't, like this has been a shitty month. I mean, I was telling Jordan last week that man, it's been a rough couple of weeks. I just want to be excited again, and I think that I mean putting a lot of responsibilities in one man. I mean, he obviously would start building a team around them, which I think will consist of someone like Jim Lee, and I know there was a lot of controversy around, not controversy, but it was a lot of differing opinions about someone like Greg Berlanti, who I don't think he would have been fit to be the head of DC films, but I do think that this man has an understanding of how to kind of approach comic into the multimedia aspects, not saying that he should be directing this many movies or writing this many scripts and so on, but kind of someone that can kind of see what things from the comics are good elevating, what could really work in live action. But I don't expect to hear much about this until maybe I think by the end of the year we will know. I think we'll know for sure. But I like Dan Lin. I think it could be a good choice, and like I said, I think it's good that a lot of the problematic people in the previous regime are heading out the door, and again, I mean, if Walter Mata expects me to be I wish you the best of luck, I don't. But yeah, I'm trying to just see if there's any.
Act like he's a old man.
I'm gonna say this. Let me just say this. That's for a
hilarious.
Second. I need to remind one more time, everyone, one more time, is that during that call when I was covering it, he was so monotoned. It was David, I can tell when you're reading from a script, but it's even when you're when you were asked, when during the Q&A portion, I felt like he didn't even sound very
He didn't sound human.
He didn't sound he sounded like his voice had a mutation. Okay.
Well, can you imagine the X-Men they start playing and starts talking?
And we'd be like, what the fuck is that?
Oh, I'm David Zaza.
Yeah, but yeah, no, we will keep you guys updated when we hear more stuff about this. But yeah, I think it's a very promising choice, and he, someone who's already familiar with that world, so we will see what happens. But what's next?
Something interesting, guys. Something's going to kind of throw you off a little bit, but we're letting you know now ahead of time. We're giving you plenty of notice. But this was announced yesterday, I believe. It is official that Gotham is going to HBO Max streaming September 30th, which means it is leaving the Netflix platform. And we saw this news, and it's quite surprising because we didn't know exactly how long. I mean, I think it's a 5 year or something after the show ends, or some sort of there's a clock counting down once a project, or a case in this case a series ends, that it will remain on Netflix due to the certain streaming rights. And Gotham's been on there for quite some time. So it's going to be going to HBO Max September 30th. And then, of course, the assumption is next year when the combined streaming service happens, Discovery and Warner Brothers, or HBO Max combined, it'll move over there as well. But we're here to give a little bit of an announcement. We've been talking about this. We've kind of hinted at it. So since Gotham is going to HBO Max September 30th, we are officially announcing it will happen sometime in October. We'll be doing a special In This Multiverse Gotham retrospective. There is the thumbnail we'll be using. We're not sure of what the actual date in October, but we will be doing a special Gotham retrospective covering the show. We were planning on doing this sometime in the summer, but everything just kind of been, it's just a crazy summer. A lot of things going on. So we've kind of pushed it back. But since this news came out, and we'll repeat it once again, Gotham is going to HBO Max September 30th. Sometime in October, probably maybe the middle of October, we'll have a special Friday show in October sometime, doing a Gotham retrospective, talking about the show, talking about the overall series, characters, all that. And we couldn't be happier to discuss this great show. I miss Gotham. I really
Me
did.
too. Yeah, no. As I told you yesterday, I've been watching Shameless, which stars Cameron Monaghan, who played Joker on Gotham. But like, it's so because further like having watched it from the beginning, he was like I don't know 15 when he was such a baby. So having like seen him grown up for the last like 3 weeks, I'm literally on season 6 right now, and I started 3 weeks ago. So I'm just going through those seasons. It makes me.
Oh my God, you're binging.
Well, the only 10 episodes per season.
Don't die.
So no, I won't die unless there is other one wants me to. But
I mean,
no, but
don't threaten him with a good time. Don't bring that axe.
What a good time, Brittany! Like, well, a good time would be to kill Andy.
You start coughing, all of a sudden, you like the door, knock on the door, you open up the door. What's going on? You just got axed.
Yeah, no, but I will say this: for everyone, if you have not watched Gotham and you're like, but I want to be, I want to be able to tune in for this retrospective, then you have all the time. It's still on Netflix for for another month, and then it will leave. So if you want to rewatch Gotham, go do that. Because we want to talk about as many aspects of it as possible, because that's it's I love Gotham. I think that it did not get enough love that which it did deserve. So it was sad, but yeah, we kind of put it in the middle of the show, kind of just as a little water cooler moment, because like there's just been there's still some rough news we had to talk about.
Yes.
But yeah, look forward to it. It's gonna be fun. But now we're gonna head back to the Marvel universe, because, ladies and gentlemen, we're closing in on a director for Fantastic Four. Matt, how do I Shackman?
I think it's how you pronounce it. Shackman, I think. Yeah.
I cannot imagine what kind of bullying he must have gone through as a kid with that last name. So from Deadline, after I'm just gonna say Matt, because I cannot say his last name. Who a lot of you may remember from having directed, executive produced WandaVision for Disney Plus. He is now in early talks to direct Marvel's Fantastic Four reboot, and a deal hasn't been locked yet, but he is in talks. And he was in the mix for the job, and insiders are telling Deadline that while a formal offer hasn't been presented, early discussions have begun, and that things are headed in the right direction. Kevin Feige will, of course, executive produce, and also like an hour later after this news broke today, he's out of Star Trek, because apparently there's another Star Trek movie coming, and he was apparently doing it, and I had no idea. So woohoo! I think this could be a fun choice. It all depends on how he approached them, but yeah, I was happy with what he did with WandaVision. So, how are you feeling about this possibly being a new director?
Interesting choice. We had heard rumblings for a while that it was going to be John Krasinski. I think it's pretty clear that they're not going that direction. It makes sense because he's already done WandaVision, so it makes sense. He's already worked on some other projects. Well, I think he did Game of Thrones as well. Like, he's done some other high-profile stuff. So it's interesting they're going this direction. I bet they've been looking for a while for him to do something theatrical, because he did WandaVision. Of course, WandaVision was very successful. Like, WandaVision, of course, was their first MCU Disney Plus show, and it crushed. Everyone was, and it kept building each week. Like, it was one of those shows where more and more people were tuning in each week because they kept hearing how good it was. And so they caught up and were catching up with the show. So it's interesting they're going this direction. I'm assuming D23 will be the official announcement. That's probably why it's coming out now. It'll be announced at D23. And I don't think there's going to be, I don't know, there could be cast, but I'm guessing they're going to just bring him out. I'm guessing and announce he's director. If they announce a cast, okay.
Yeah, it would be a very fast turnaround in that case, because I think that because first they have to lock the deal, and then because I think he would also obviously have a hand in picking the cast for this movie, of course, and not saying that he's he's not the casting director, but he would obviously have a say in people he think he would fit the movie. I think if anything, we may hear at least about one of them if they can lock something. But it would be cool to have them all come out together.
I mean, it would still be cool if John Krasinski was Bird Richards, if they wanted to go that route of having him as Reed. But I would think if they're going to have him as Reed, they would probably want him to direct it too. But I don't know. It might be.
I mean, I would rather have Goldface and Black as our Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman. I'm not a big John Krasinski fan, but if people are fans of him, that's perfectly fine. But like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good without him. I don't want someone that high profile to be playing the Fantastic Four. I think like one of them maybe, but like it would be nice with some new Hollywood blood. Like I will happily play. Like the Thing if they need me to. Like I look like a fucking building at this point, so why not? But yeah, this is exciting. He's we're closing in, so hopefully I wouldn't be sorry if that gets announced at D23. Even if they don't have a cast, maybe they could announce that we're casting these 4 rebels, so this is maybe they will announce the villain, like not who's playing him, but like who their villain might.
The villain is okay.
Yeah, like something or concept art, like how their costumes might look or something. But this is exciting. Now let's head back to the DC universe. There's a lot of Marvel DC all tonight.
We keep jumping back and forth, guys. This is some interesting news that came out earlier today. Once again, like I said, a lot of stuff came out today, which is a thing. So we had heard that along with a couple of other shows, which we'll talk about a little bit in a minute, the Cape Crusader, Batman Cape Crusader. We had heard this show was not canceled, but was not going to be on HBO Max. And also, I believe Cartoon. It was going to be on Cartoon Network as well, I think, or something. But anyways, it's being shopped around. And we're hearing that Netflix, Hulu, and what was the other one? Oh, Apple Plus. And there might be some others because they said and others have been trying to strike a deal for this show. And they're only talking about this show. They're not talking about the other 5 projects, which we'll talk about in a minute, that were pushed off of HBO Max. They're still in production, but they're being shipped around as well. But this is the one that everyone wants. I was talking to Andy about this earlier, and I think it's interesting. It makes sense. It's a Batman project. You want, like, if you're a streaming service, you want this show. I was telling him, I think, personally, Netflix is the best approach. And I understand the route is, well, Netflix loves to cancel shows. Well, the thing is that unlike a Netflix original series where they're paying for everything, it would be made under Warner Brothers Television production. And if they're willing to put up the money, Netflix will continue to have the show on their service. And with Netflix being, even though I think now they're not the biggest streaming service. I think Disney Plus has surpassed them in total subscribers, I think. But regardless, Netflix has a lot of viewers, and they would definitely promote this heavily because it's a Batman show. So they would definitely promote this heavily. So I think Netflix is the right move. People are saying Hulu is a good choice. I think Hulu is a good choice. I think Apple Plus is not, because Apple Plus, I know a lot of people can get it because a lot of people have iPhones. I have an iPhone, but I don't have Apple Plus. I have no real desire to get the streaming service, and I would get it if the show was going to Apple Plus, but I do think Netflix is going to get this. I don't think anybody else has a shot. I mean, Apple might because of their money, but I don't know. I think Warner Bros. Discovery will probably want to strike a deal with Netflix because they do have a gigantic streaming service with a lot of viewers, and people will tune in. They will definitely tune in when their show drops. What do you think of this? And what do you think, which streaming service do you think is going to get it? And is that the same as, the one that will actually end up getting it? Like the one you personally want versus maybe the one that actually might end up getting it?
No, I think you're spot on. I think Netflix is where it's going to go because Warner Bros. Already has a lot of collaboration with Netflix. Sandman. Which I'm hoping for season 2.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
But they have a lot of shows there already, and I think that would be. I think Netflix will be the one that wants to pay more because I haven't seen a lot of animation on Apple Plus. Hulu, I don't understand why they would even go to Hulu. I think that it's like a very I can see it making sense in another world, but I don't see this being the end result. But I think Netflix is absolutely where it's going to go. I mean, I still think it would be better to just have it on their own streaming service. So you already have Batman animated series and so on because Cape Crusader is kind of paying homage to that show. I think that would be better. But I think that whatever streaming service they have next year from Warner Brothers, it will be mostly, I think, live action at this point, and animation might just go somewhere else.
You make a good point about Netflix and Warner Brothers having a good relationship because we have Lucifer on there. They got Lucifer. It aired on Fox, but it is a Warner Brothers television production.
Yeah, and Netflix saved it also.
Yeah, and you also have, like you said, Sandman. The Sandman did fantastic for their service. They also have Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which was going to be a CW. They picked it up and it aired for 4 parts, so it did pretty well on their service. And at the end of the day, this also gives Warner Brothers Discovery money in their pocket, licensing fees. Like, whoever gets the show has to pay Warner Brothers Discovery to have the ownership of the show. So it's more money in their pocket to pay off more debt, which I get it. If that's the route, the reason why they're taking this route, but I'm hoping Netflix gets it. Please, Netflix. Do the
I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it. So we're gonna stay on somewhat Batman Crusader. We're gonna talk about a lot of HBO Max stuff that we didn't cover last week. We're gonna do it this week. So over the last 2 weeks, there's been a lot of reports coming out that over 30 titles are being removed from HBO Max. Now, Mr. N is not going to read every single name, but there's a lot of titles. It includes like Aquaman, King of Atlantis, and whatever. And it's like a lot of maybe Sesame Street. There's just a lot. Maybe a lot of shows that maybe you guys haven't heard of or haven't watched, because some of these I had never heard of, but these were shows that were made, and it has caused, and part of the Batman Cape Crusader news is that that show, along with Merry Little Batman, dear Lord, that name, the day the Earth blew up, a Looney Tunes movie, Bye Bye Bunny, a Looney Tunes musical. Did I do that to the holidays? A Steve Urkel story. Wow. And The Amazing World of Gumball, the movie, which was a working title, it will no longer be produced by HBO Max, but they're now being shopped around. And Batman Creative Crusader, as Jordan just said, is potentially heading to Netflix or Apple Plus or Hulu or other sources other outlets that we haven't heard of yet. A lot of heat has come from this, especially with the 30 titles so on. And I mean, what else can we say? I mean, what can we say? This is, this is just, I mean, I get it, but I also feel so bad for the people who worked on the show who has all come out and said, we don't even have this, physical media of our own shows and so on. But also to say, if they if not a lot of people are watching them, then I understand why they have to remove them because of financial causes. Because if no one is watching it, it's not like, even if they're not watching, Discovery still has Discovery still has to pay a lot of fees just to keep the shows going and so on. And it's like, if it's like a low percentage watching them, I get it. But also it's like, I wish at the very least that they could make some at least some type of more, I think maybe physical media for these streaming shows needs to be included now in contracts when these shows are created. For example, I know for example, they announced earlier in the week that Titan season 3 is coming on Blu-ray and DVD, but it's I don't know if every show on HBO Max has that guarantee. So
no.
I don't really have any else to say about that. So what are your thoughts on all this? Now it's been almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, we know they were already removed the 30 shows, or the 30 different content. We're looping it in because we have more information about other stuff, like we just mentioned, Cape Crusader, other content that's being shopped around. It's not going to HBO Max because they probably would write it off. I don't know, or they could have outright canceled it. I think at the end of the day, this whole situation is it's a disaster, but I understand the business side of it, because the residuals you have to pay. But like you said, I think, I guess the question is, with all the projects they removed, they made a point that some stuff you can still buy, like on Amazon, you can still buy the seasons of these shows, but I don't know if that's all of them. Because I think if you're an HBO Max original program, you couldn't get access to this show anywhere else. You couldn't buy it anywhere else. You had to watch it on the streaming service. So I feel like there's probably some content that you cannot legally get now. Obviously, you can be a pirate, but I don't recommend that. I don't promote piracy. But they said that there are some content. I don't know if you still can, though. I don't know if you still can purchase these shows that were available on other services now. They were saying you could, but since they had removed a lot of stuff already before the shows got removed from the platform, I don't know. But it's really bad look because I won't be surprised if anybody who worked on these shows that got removed don't want to work with Warner Brothers again because their content got removed and most of them you can't see anymore. And to Triple X point, if they wrote off Young Justice, that would be, I don't know if they can, because you would also have to write off the 2 seasons that were on Cartoon Network exclusively. I don't know if they can legally write off a show that old, because it technically is an old show, because it started in the 2000s or to 2010s or whatever, but it's an older show. Like, we're talking about HBO Max original content for the most part.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of shows that also that they haven't even started making and whatnot. I did see that people were talking about like the whole Cartoon Network aspect of it. So I went back to the original, like the day it broke, which was that it was picked up straight to series, and it was from HBO Max and Cartoon Network. So it would have been airing simultaneously, like maybe like they air it on
Crusader.
Yeah. So now the interesting thing is that none of the reports that they're talking about right now with Batman Crusader being shopped around, no one is mentioning whether or not it will or will not air on Cartoon Network, which
I don't think it would. If it's been shopped to other services, I don't think so.
I mean, hopefully they will clarify what's going on with that, because I'm like, it feels like everyone just kind of just forgot that like this was like, this wasn't just one outlet that went for it. But I think they sound like the show is like just a little too dark for Cartoon Network, so I wouldn't be surprised if they don't even put it on.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think with the announcement of it not going to HBO Max, that kind of tells me that it's not going to go, because I'm assuming whoever gets the streaming rights, if it's Netflix, they're not gonna allow this thing to be on Cartoon Network. No, like, because they've never done that with any content that they own. Because what's going to happen is when Batman the Caped Crusader lands hypothetically on Netflix, it's going to have Netflix original series because they have the licensing rights. They're not going to allow it to air anywhere else. But that's the thing. Like, they're not referencing it, so people might still think, oh, it's still air on Cartoon Network. I don't think so. Because if they're not going to put it on their streaming service, why would they air it on one of their networks?
Again, this is why this is why this series order was very confusing to me. Like the thing that is still moving forward on HBO Max and Cartoon Network is My Adventures with Superman. Jack Quaid, who's voicing Superman, he just talked about it the other day, and that he has been doing voice work for that. So like that will still move up. Yeah, that will still happen. But yeah, I'm sure that there's going to be, I'm hoping that we're kind of getting towards the end of this.
Well, I think the tax write-offs ends this month. Like there cannot be any more like stuff to be removed at this point. I think when we hit September, I think is the cutoff point for using his axe.
No, oh my god! I knew you would find a way to work that.
I had to bring it back, man.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Well, we're gonna get to our last topic, which is more optimistic. As we get before we get to Q&A. So there's with Batman Caped Crusader's faith up in the air, we have some updates about Matt Reeves, who is one of the executive producers on Caped Crusader, and this came 3 days ago from Deadline, which and I will read what this said. Warner Bros. Is going all in on the Batman director Matt Reeves and his Sixth and Idaho production company. He's become the first filmmaker given an overall first look deal since Warner Bros. Picture Group's co-chairs, CEOs Michael D. Luca and Pamela Abdi were hired by Warner Bros. Discovery chief David Zaslav to steer the film division. In addition, Reeves have re-upped with the Warner Bros. Television Group and chairman Channing Dungey, where he's also working on the Batman spin-off series The Penguin with Colin Farrell. Reeves and Six and Idaho had a first look film deal at Netflix. Reeves is spending so much time on film and TV part relating to the Batman fighter that it made perfect sense for him to call Warner Bros. Home with the multi-year first look. The Luca and Abdi hope to see him grow into the kind of cornerstone filmmaker that Todd Phillips has been with the Hangover and Joker franchises, and what Clint Eastwood has been forever at the studio. Under the terms of the film deal, Warner Bros. Picture Group's production divisions, Warner Bros. Pictures, New Line Cinema, Warner Bros. Animation Group, and DC-based film will have first look rights to Reeves' work as a writer, director, and/or producer. Reeves is currently back at work on the sequel, co-writing with Mattson Tomlin, the second installment of a DC Rescue that drew strong reviews and a global gross north of $770 million at the global box office. Robert Pattinson is back for the sequel as a titular character. As part of the new deal, Reeves has begun to search to find a senior level executive to run the new film deal for his production company. Dylan Clark, who has been Reeves' producing partner on the Planet of the Apes trilogy and the Batman, is also back for the sequel, but runs his own production label. What else is worth bringing up here? Okay, yeah, this will be interesting, I think. The 6th and Idaho re-ups with Warner Bros. Television Group comes as production starts loom for The Penguin, with Colin Firth reprising his Oswald Cobblepot role for HBO Max. And yeah, there's a lot of excitement, and that means that we're getting, a crap ton of stuff from him in the next coming years. I mean, I love the Batman. I love what they did with that, and I think, yeah, he's now locked in, and I'm sure there's a lot of security clauses in that where, like, if I make something for y'all, you better fucking put it out on the screen.
Exactly.
We have a super tip from it's got about there's gonna be
I hope not.
No, can we just let Stargirl air on Wednesday without any
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
But yeah, we will we will see. What are you happy about? Are you happy about this news?
I think it's one of the best decisions they've ever made at the studio as a whole, because Matt Reeves has proven himself time and time again with the Apes 2 films he directed. The Batman, like 3-hour film, it delivered. Because when you start getting up to that 3-hour mark in any movie, it's gotta be worth it, or else it's gonna feel like it's dragging. I really, really enjoyed that film, and hearing about the Penguin spinoff, we'll see what happens. But this sign up is pretty smart. I think it's the worst place that this was announced in. I think it's just because they're trying to do damage control, trying to, get around all the bad press. Mm-hmm. The unfortunate part is that the bad press just continued to keep happening past this point. So the bad press never stopped. But I think this is a smart decision because Matt Reeves is going to be able to do more than what was planned. And people are thinking that this means he's only going to be doing DC related content. And that's not the case. He's going to have a team of people working to pitch other projects outside of DC, and he's going to be kind of in control of his side of stuff. And I'm assuming within his contract, like you mentioned about the whole, if he makes it, if they start, if they can't cancel.
Once it's been approved, they have to go.
Once it's approved, they got to go through with it. But I'm also thinking too, he probably has something in there as well that they can't try to shoehorn in other stuff outside of his stuff. Like they try to connect things. Like you can't connect any DC project that I don't approve of in my thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like he's probably going to want
to little bit of both. I think that he definitely if this is for example something that his deal could have had is that he has full creative controls. Now, it's very rare that any studios would give a filmmaker those kind of rights, because that is it's their IPs in the end, they can decide and so. But I think that it I'm sure he's obviously up for he's open for conversation. If they're how could we work in maybe a new Superman in this film series? So I think as long as he gets if he gets to cast his own Superman, if he gets to be well, I want this to be the suit, I want this to be direction for characters, so on. I'm sure he will have full control of that. But again, I think at least Batman 2 and 3 will be
and I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a Superman in this world, if we get these characters, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's like we're not going to just have Superman. We're going to have an origin, or kind of maybe in Batman 2, they kind of imply there's something in Metropolis. Somebody saving people. They don't know who it is.
I still think it would be fun. If, Michael B. Jordan, he's executive producing a Val Zod TV show for HBO Max. As far as I know, it's still moving forward. I think it would be kind of fun to see a different world's finest, I don't know how people would take it with a black Superman hanging out with a white Batman. I'm sure people would be like, oh, whoa, SCW, blah, 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 blah. Oh, well, look who showed up in the chat. Hello, Canada.
I mean, he probably would connect to the 90 Day Fiancé verse.
Oh, Christ, that would.
Probably.
I know, so I saw. This is up to you if you want to do this, because I don't want to plug myself in that way. But some people wanted to ask if we were going to talk about the Stargirl tidbit that came out from my interview earlier in the week. If you want to talk about it, if you want to get into Q&A.
Oh, we can talk about it in the Q&A if you want.
Okay. Well, then let's hit that song.
Okay. Q&A. Ask us questions or we'll fucking leave.
Yeah. So that was a lot of topics, y'all. So thank you for bearing with us. It was a lot. Again, I didn't know if I was gonna have time to finish all the fun overlays today. Because I didn't want to just like put it just up like a random. I tried to always do something fun. Like I found like a fun image of Dan Lin, or like Jordan sent me the screenshot from that episode.
And it's so bad. Like I felt bad, but at the same time, that screenshot, like that's the best people can get, because if you actually like see the shot it comes from, the computer is like here, and then the camera is like here, and then it's all the way over on the opposite side. It's not closer to the camera. It's infuriating. Thank you for loving the jingle. That is our song for the for Q&A.
But yeah, do we want to just address that quickly and then just because I wasn't planning on bringing it up. I saw like people were like, "Oh, we're gonna bring it up."
So
go on.
You did something.
I did something wrong. No, I'm kidding.
You did something terrible.
Yeah.
I was planning on talking to Stargirl, but he's like, "Fuck that! I'm gonna do it."
Jesus Christ.
Kidding.
Yeah. So I had the pleasure of chatting with Miss Breck Bassinger on Tuesday afternoon. The rest of the interview, the full interview, will come up on Monday or Tuesday, right before the show comes back. But I always know how everyone always wants to know about crossovers and stuff. So I decided to do my best, do my diligence, and ask her a little something about it. Because I asked her I know Flash and Stargirl almost had a crossover pre-COVID, but what are chances that we could still, is that something you still want to see happen before the show ends? Because season 9 will start filming next month. Will be the end of the show. And she said, so I do know that just talking to Jeff Johns, our showrunner, nothing specific to the Flash, but there are other things. There's still talks going on about a small crossover cameo situation, and we're actually working on schedules. So I'm hoping it works out, because clearly last time it did not. But I would say stay optimistic. They're still pushing for it. And I asked her as a follow-up, do you know what that crossover was gonna be? And she had no idea what the story was, but she's hoping just as much as all of us that we do see Barry and Courtney at least for like one episode or something. And she said that anything is possible. When I pointed out to her, what Flash starts filming next season, she's like, it's possible. So what do you think about that? So
I think it's interesting. I'm glad that she's kind of talking about it a little bit, but obviously she doesn't know anything. I think she knows, but she can't talk about it. But I mean, I'm hoping that we get something. Like, I'm hoping she crosses over with Flash. I mean, that would be, I think, like, their personalities would be great. I'm hoping they can work that out for season 9 of the Flash. I mean, we only have 13 episodes right now. Unless they get that extension to 15.
I mean, you could do for one episode. You can do for one episode.
We could. I'm just saying is we have a limited amount of episodes. Like, we don't have like 18 or 20 what we got in season 7 or 8. So I hope that if we do get it, that it probably will connect to the main story, but it would be awesome. I just kind of hope that it happens, because it's kind of unfortunate we have to, because there's not much time left, unless Stargirl season 4, if that happens, that Barry will cross over there. Like, somehow he goes to Earth 2. For what reason? No idea, but who knows? But I wanted to ask, did you ask her about the villain of season 3? Because I didn't see you. I mean, I don't know if you did, because I mean,
we'll go by Monday. We'll go by Monday.
Well, I'm asking because when they announced God Digglespeed as the villain for season
Jesus
3,
Christ! Oh my God! I thought you had a serious question. Jesus.
I'm wondering if you asked her about God Digglespeed.
She was like, I have no idea who that is.
I can't talk about that.
No, but I asked her about. I don't have the quote in front of me because I have to work on it, but it is. We talked about the villain. Okay. She definitely knows people are, hoping for more Stargirl after season 3, and she said that she sees all the love, she appreciates it, and she's so thankful to have the support from this fandom. But it was she's awesome. I think, and that's why I'm hoping season 4 happens, because like she's I told her, like, you're not just playing Stargirl, you are Stargirl. So yes, she is 100%. She's very polite. She's well spoken. She she also loves this character so much. And but yeah. But he said it in such a serious tone, so I was like, well, that has to be what he's doing. But yeah, I look forward. You can look for that on Monday or Tuesday once I'm done on the Flash Podcast website. But let's look through Q&As.
Crossover now. Okay.
Let's see. I'm gonna scroll back into the chart. Let's see. What do we have? Anthony's wondering, do we think John Walker will return to the MCU? I mean, otherwise, what's the point of doing Thunderbolts?
Possibly. That's true too. Yeah. The trailer for Hogwarts Legacy, it was a trailer, but not really. Just kind of like setting up a sideline storyline you can do. I don't know. No, God Digglespeed. No, it's happening, guys. God Digglespeed is the villain of everything.
Let's see, what are people saying?
When Danny DeVito's cast as Colin Farrell's Penguin's father.
Listen,
that'd be fantastic.
I wanted that for all of Gotham season 1 and 2 when his father was relevant, and yet we didn't get him. I could not understand how we couldn't get that. To be like, Fox, you fucking have money. How dare you not give us that? To be like, that would have been genius.
So with this whole thing, you got to remember that back when this was announced, you also got to remember that they were not even notified, or at least the showrunner for Batwoman was unaware this was happening until they announced it in the trades, or announced it through the CW president saying they were doing a crossover. She had no idea. And obviously back then, they probably thought Superman and Lois was on Earth Prime. And things
this
changed.
was May 2020. This would have been May 2020, so we were still dealing with with COVID, and then they just saw like, well, we just cannot make this happen. But
yes, I feel like you saw WandaVision, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so you remember when the flashback with her and Pietro, and that's where she got her love of sitcoms and all that. You gotta see that. I think that's not actually what really happened. I feel like she's leaving out some things. I feel like she's
not I mean, I love Wanda, but I don't think she's a very reliable narrator. So like,
I feel like there's certain things that happened. I think that the stone giving her the powers, or basically creating the Scarlet Witch, essentially that whole sequence occurred. Her and her brother and her parents. I feel like it's not a retcon if they change it. I think it's because
the life you wish for.
Yeah, I think she just thought that, like, she probably forgot or is trying to forget what truly happened. I think we saw a version of what happened. I bet there was a sister. We just didn't see her because
I think it would be fun if Polaris from The Gifted showed up.
Well, I think it'd be interesting because I think maybe the reason why we don't see the sister, if they go this route of Polaris, is because she dies with the parents, and that she tries to forget that her sister died, and she actually didn't die. You know what I'm saying? Like, she thought she did. And so when they meet up all these years later, it's going to be this big thing. I don't know. That'd be a long lost sister. Essentially, they could go that route. Hello, Chosen Theater owner. Hello.
What's up?
Hello. Yeah, Wanda represses things. Yes, I believe that. I do believe she's repressing some certain memories, because I believe her real father is Magneto. She's repressing the memory, or her and her brother and her sister, or maybe Polaris didn't go with her. Maybe they were adopted or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe Magneto.
They were separated, maybe.
Something. Yeah, I mean, anything could have been possible, because just because we see her parents doesn't mean it's actually her parents.
Yeah, I think that it's probably the life she was wishing and hoping for, but but yeah, I used to love that. I mean, I didn't keep up with the Gifted too much, but I love Emma what's her last name? So Emma Dumont, I think, as Polaris. She was awesome. So I think it would be great to see her and Elizabeth Olsen together. It obviously wouldn't be like the same Polaris from because the Gifted is in whatever X-Men movie stuff.
Was that confirmed to be in the X-Men?
They were very vague about it. They wanted to kind of just they pulled a Todd Helping basically. But Christ me. But yeah, no. Andy is not short for Andrew. My full legal name is Andy. I do not understand why this is such a mind blow to people.
I loved the first episode. Loved it. It was good.
You got picked for season 2. I probably never will.
Oh, okay. I liked it. Lots of dragons. Not lots of dragons. They had some dragons.
I better have some dragons in it because it's fucking called House of the Dragon. Like they better have some dragon action. Otherwise, it's like,
it's obvious. You gotta have God Nickel Speed.
By the way, we need to make sure that image never gets deleted because I don't have it anymore on my computer. I don't know what happened to it.
Oh, okay. Nah, I mean, I don't plan on it. I think I still have it. I have it. Yeah.
But
I know I have it because I think because we did that God Nickel Speed video and it's in the beginning, like it's the stagnant image, so it's still out there. Let's see. Well, have you seen other episodes, Jon Snow? Let's see. Canada, check your DMs. Jesus Christ. I didn't want to say it out loud, but my God. I don't want to lie to you, people like that. You don't see joining him.
Joining ending.
What? All I want to see is Barry, Jefferson, Sarah, and Oliver back in Hall Justice. Not Oliver. I don't think so. I don't know.
That comic.
Oh yeah, I read the book. No, I read the book. Oh, okay. But I did read a book. I finished a book today.
Oh,
yes. Darcy Coates, Hunted. It is a thriller mystery. She mostly writes horror. It's 450 pages, but it goes by. I mean, the amount of words per page is not that bad. Like I literally got through this in like 4 days.
I like pictures.
I do too. But this is a great book if you're looking for a horror author, but this is more of a mystery, thriller, crime. Darcy Coates, look her up. But she wrote mostly horror, but I recommend Hunted. I've read a couple of other of her books already, and good stuff. Recommend Darcy Coates.
Just to address what Scott was saying, by the way, I think if anyone is like I think they're going to try and get Steven somehow. I think the easiest one to get back is Jefferson because Sarah, unlike Legends of Tomorrow's, Jefferson is not in a cliffhanger right now, so I think
they would have to heavily explain that.
Well, but this is why, and like Legends fans are gonna murder me for saying it, but this is why I don't need to see the Legends in season 9 of 5 because if you bring Sarah in, you have to bring all of them in because you need to. You can't just. Eric is not gonna, and he's smart for not doing it. He's not gonna just go and pick up one of them and then just say what happened off screen. No, he knows that this is a story that is. If people don't get it on air, people are gonna just bombard the show and like. That's why I'm like, yeah, I don't need to see the Legends. I mean, listen, they should not have ended on a cliffhanger. I'm again still sad they got canceled, but when you are in season 7 of a show that usually is on the bubble, that has been on the bubble for quite a lot of years, you don't do a cliffhanger that big,
and not have a next season confirmed.
Yeah, like that, like. But see, the thing, I'm not even allowed to be angry about it because then people are gonna be like, "Oh, you're just a Legends hater" or whatever. But it's like, but it's like it's like if Flash had done that in season 7 and it got canceled because of the pandemic, I would have been pissed too. So it's not just specific to Legend, but I feel like in Legend's case, I know you don't watch it, but so this is what I think is so idiotic: is that every season finale they pretty much wrap up everything that happens and have like a very like close-ended season finale. What in their minds made them think, you know what we're gonna do? For a show that is in year 7, in year 7 of a TV show,
renew contracts after that point. You have to renew contracts.
Yeah, and it's like, and they know they're a show that's constantly on the bubble. It's like, but no, but again, it's like people will always, be like, oh my god, you hate Legends if I say anything bad about it.
Thing is, Disney Fox merger, it was seen as a really potential disaster, but they actually handled it way better. there was layoffs because when you're combining two companies, that there are certain jobs that are overlapping and they're the same thing. But in terms of content, Disney and Fox, like the new, they released all their content. Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us live from Burbank, California, at the Warner Brothers Discovery Studio, Canada Grabs.
That is incorrect. I was released today from my job at Warner Brothers. They didn't even allow me to take out the box that I had my belongings in.
So you're saying
there's now
got axed, is what you're saying?
Oh, I tell you, man, it is a bloodbath over there.
Is this what you were looking at earlier today? Is this what you were looking at? You just got axed?
Not him again, make it stop.
Wait, did you really just push off your computer? Jesus, did you just throw away your computer just too?
He's like, what the hell? He had more flashbacks is what happened.
Guys, I don't know if you heard what I was saying.
My therapist is going to need to hear about that later.
Would you agree what I said about the ledger situation, or or I don't know if you heard what I said?
I've only been around for like the last 10 minutes, and 3 of those was looking for my phone, so I don't know what you might have said.
I said it felt like it was very reckless to do a cliffhanger for a show that is usually a bubble show, and it's 7th season. Like, I understand it's sad it got canceled, but it's like, guys, don't do that. I
mean, yeah, I agree. I don't know whether he did it to save getting another job or whether he sincerely meant it. But Keto, at least, or she, is it a he or she? I always forget.
It's a she, yeah. You're thinking about Phil Clement.
Okay, it was a minute into it where I realized. So she at least eventually went, hey, this is on me, my bad. I mean, yeah, it is on you. It's a huge fuck up. But, she eventually went, hey, I was given some warning and I chose to ignore it. And hopefully she's not put in charge of a show you ever like again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if go that far, but I hope that she learns something from this, because, like,
I'm sure she will, but it's too late for the people who are fans of that product.
Yeah.
And everyone who worked on it that were hoping for another season, especially the actors with how they ended it, saying, "Okay, well, they're implied."
I think, yeah, the actors definitely have a lot to be frustrated about, especially because, let's be honest, I think most of the actors on that show aren't going on to another project where they're just jumping in being the lead of something. They're probably going to come in, start off as a recurring at best or a guest star, and move their way up to a lead, maybe. The crew, this is Vancouver. Every single person on that show that wants to work got a job the next week. That's not a problem in Vancouver, but it's still a little frustrating because you probably have, like most crew, have a loose idea of how their year is probably going to look, And now they might have had like a vacation plan in August that they're like, well, we'll go vacation in August because September, October we'll be working again. And then they realize they didn't. And now they got to reassess which shows are filming at what time to get a job. So there's probably some upheaval for some people, but I'd say 90% of them landed back on their feet pretty smoothly, But yeah, as for her, I think it's hard for any other show to trust her opinion on a major matter for a while. She's going to need to probably work her way back up to that.
Yeah, it's just disappointing where it's like, again, like, because we didn't need that cliffhanger. Like, they could have just I don't know. I'm not a TV writer, but I guess what I would have done is maybe instead of Booster and them getting arrested, Booster could have taken them to the future and be like, let's go to the future. Let me show you why you guys are Legends of Tomorrow, and that would have been a decent final shot.
Better than all of getting arrested.
Yeah, and that's why I know people in the chat are disagreeing, but it's Eric. Well, I don't know. Eric is not. It's not his job to fix Legends of Tomorrow, and if he has to bring in Sarah, he has to bring in all of them.
No, he doesn't. I've said this.
The fans are gonna murder him if they're like, you didn't bring in Zara, you didn't bring in Barra, you didn't bring in Ray, you didn't bring on this and so on. Like, why only bring in Sarah? Like, does that not matter to you? It's not what it's not like.
When we did the Green Arrow and Canaries wrap up, they only brought in one character.
Point.
Yeah, no, but yeah, the Legends are like the Legends.
We only got one from Black Lightning on the shows.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Eric is like, I'm not even gonna bring Sarah because that'd be just too much to explain.
They've only got 13 episodes this year, so unless they, I mean, I've said it a few times. I've written out basically how easy it is for them to do this, and it only costs them a couple of minutes of screen time. But at the end of the day, fans would be a little pissy if it was wrapped up that smoothly. And that is, you just have Sarah come in at whatever point. Someone's like, oh, hey, how are you? What you been up to? And she's like, well, this happened. We got arrested for this, and this is how we got out. And she explains to them for our benefit how it got wrapped up. 60 seconds, 90 seconds of dialogue. They've ended that story for everybody. Fans wouldn't be happy about it, but it would close it off, Even
just bring in Booster Gold too, just to kind of, maybe he explains.
Yeah, well, the Flash has already confirmed that he exists there.
Yeah.
They're in the same universe?
Yeah, don't you remember he was on was it a newspaper article or something?
No, I thought he was in he was just in one of many worlds with leagues about the superheroes. Boys.
I should pull that. That should be a clip on the show, just to keep bringing up that.
We lost him. Yeah, I was on his stream the other night, and he was like, "Say that line one more time. Say that line one more time." I was like,
"He's still there. He's just not showing himself."
Yeah, no, he's giving
having
me
flashbacks.
He's giving me the finger. No, I'm kidding.
This is Canagraph's true villain when he's out getting photos.
Here's Journey. I don't know if I will. I will try and go live on Twitch tomorrow. I will try. I will. If I go live, I'll post it on Twitter. But thank you for being so enthusiastic about it. But yeah, I would. CG, put on your camera again. There we go. Yeah.
Is Oliver Queen coming back in any form? This would be the time to do it if they're going to bring Steven back. It's the final.
I heard he's going to come back as Katie Lotz playing Laurel Lance.
Please. Is he playing Katie Lotz, who's playing Laurel Lance? That's actually playing Sarah Lance, the original, during the pilot of Arrow before they recast it.
Give me a headache.
That's what I'm hearing.
But with Razor the Maid's accent.
Okay.
With a southern accent like General Lane?
No.
Okay, Jordan, did he not sound southern to you?
I don't. That scene went by so fast. I'm like, what? It's a lot to take in.
Boys. Let me tell you something about my country time lemonade recipe.
Wait. So I got a serious question about this. What kind of machinery or magic did they have to see the other worlds?
Things.
Okay, so here's what I want. In season 3 premiere, I want him to look into whatever the hell this thing is, so we know what he looked at.
It's just a television screen, by the way.
So he was
watching with a television program.
He has a Netflix account. He's watching Arrow, Flash. He's watching.
Yeah.
And he's
no. I know. No. Cole Sprouse in the Superman Lois universe. There's another Jughead, and he's the one like on Rivervale. Being a narrator, being like just telling like he's getting fed information in his head. Like this happened on this episode of this. Like he's just recapping every season of every show on Earth Prime.
They got top secret military things. It's it's just like when they're making kryptonite weapons. Same thing.
Ooh, yeah. For someone who retired, I think it's like very ironic that he just like keeps it.
Realistically, I think someone in that line of work, though, when you retire, you still have your ear to the ground near a lot of things that are going on. To be realistic,
literally,
I did. I just realized the answer to our question from a minute ago. I was onto something when I started the answer. It is actually a TV screen. What they've done is they've decided to cross over with a sci-fi show that used to air Fringe, and they had a TV screen that they could see into another universe through.
Seriously?
That is what they're using.
Wow.
They somehow got their hands onto it.
Well, the point you made about how he kept his ear to the ground, he still knows a lot of things going on. Literally in season 2, he just kept showing up there. He just kept going and doing stuff at the DoD when he's supposed to be retired. He just keeps showing up and doing stuff. Okay, so Scott's point: do you think Earth Prime Superman and Lois will might appear in season 9? It's possible. I mean, they would have to explain what has been happening since then.
They would have a lot of sex, having more, like have a triplets.
Well, it's not impossible, but I'd put it on the lower end of possibilities. I mean, let's be honest. Clearly, Todd Helbing has zero interest in propping them up. So, would he be willing to work with them and give those two the time to go over there?
Yeah, that's the thing, because don't they have a longer shooting schedule per episode for Superman and Lois?
Yeah, but I mean, there's lots of time that they could have a day where Tyler and Bitsy are both not working.
And we did have an episode in season 2 where Tyler was only in it for like 2 minutes, and then
was it? That was the beginning, right, where he just went through the portal.
Yeah, he was in 2 minutes, and then he came back at the end, and so on. So it's like I mean, but of course, when Tyler is gone, no one gives a shit. But when Grant is gone for an episode almost, then people are like, oh my god, why is he not there?
Thing is, if Tyler started doing that on a regular basis, I think people would.
Yeah.
Grant, it's been we didn't hear about that back in season 1 or 2 if Grant was only in an episode for like 5 or 8 minutes, because it wasn't a regular thing yet. The fact that it happens now 3 or 4 times a season, and episodes we do get him for, he's only in it for like 10 minutes,
and he's going to be in
a lot of. Yeah, being in it doesn't mean he's gonna all of a sudden have an advanced screen time too.
That's true. He could be in it for 5 minutes.
I would say when it comes to season 9 and stuff, I do think that I know a lot of people are looking at the 30 episode numbers, so but if anything, this will be the year to and I'm not saying if I'm hinting at or anything like that, but I was saying this is the year where they would this would be the most appropriate year to do it, and having DC used to do this thing called Brave and the Bold, where they would have the main hero sometimes team up with another hero every week, and so on, kind of almost like Armageddon, what they did in Armageddon, but again, if the heroes I could see on that line, I do see Tyler being a very strong option because he's already in Vancouver, so it would be fine. I do see Breck. I think this will be the year. If they do any multiverse stuff, this would be the year to bring them in, and whatever plot they were supposed to do in season 6, they could do it. They could do it maybe now for an episode. You don't have you can have a guest character come in and serve as the main hero's story. Maybe whatever the new villains are going to be, maybe somehow she shows up, or maybe we could say that because season 3 of Stargirl, season 3 of Stargirl will finish airing by the end of the year. Season 9 of The Flash will begin, let's say February or March next year. So theoretically, maybe during season 3 and a potential season 4 of Stargirl, maybe she somehow is exploring the multiverse. Also, we have to remember we have Jay Garrick. He's connecting these 2 shows, so they can make it happen. It's not impossible. They just have to.
If it's Cobalt Blue, right, as the villain, if it's Cobalt,
it would be shocking to me if it's not Cobalt Blue at this point.
So if it's Cobalt Blue, Barry starts chasing him through the multiverse, and then he saves Stargirl from being killed by Cobalt Blue. Maybe that could tie into something
like that. It's not impossible.
She could be just flying around on her and just going around, landing, and then she sees something going on, and then all of a sudden Cobalt Blue's about to kill her, and then Barry saves her, and maybe that's how they meet, and it's just her. You could bring up people in, it would be fine, but I don't know. Okay, I guess the question is, are they going to bring Cisco back?
I'm sure.
They can make it work. Yeah.
I think I'm almost 99% sure that he's being approached for the series finale, at least.
I would hope he comes back at least for the final episode. I'm not expecting him to come back for the rest of the season.
No, I think I honestly think when it comes to his story, I think it's good, and I think like they it's been wrapped up. They've done the stuff with him. He's living off his life and so on. Or maybe somehow he does come back because of the. I know Canograph is gonna roll his eyes on me again in the zone because every time I bring up that damn comic, he just I can feel his anger. But he's the one that discovered that Bloodwork has escaped from Argus. So that could be a way to tie him in. But the only story that I need to see wrapped up in this show is Barry and Iris and Caitlin at this point. I like Chester, I like Allegra, I like Cecile, despite their insane powers, but they need to be they need to be supporting players this year. This year needs to be about Baron Iris and Caitlin because those are the 3 characters that we've been following for 9 years.
Well, I've got big deals about how the season's going to unfold. It is going to be about Barry and Iris and Caitlin. What's going to happen is Barry and Iris, Barry, and Caitlin are going to talk to Chester and Allegra about how they need to advance their relationship, and they're gonna have Iris and Caitlin together, sitting down with Allegra, and they're gonna have Barry with Goldface. And they're going to sit down and talk with Chester about their feelings.
What about
don't interrupt me, sir. This is my show. And what's gonna happen is they're gonna talk to them about their feelings, and then they'll give them a pep talk, and everything's gonna be fine. And the last 11 and a half episodes of the season will be about Allegra and Chester and their wedding.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay, you can now talk if you do.
Okay.
Hi, Jake. Thank you for the super chat, Jake. Multiverse.
I mean, I think it makes sense. And yes, you need to go back down to the bayou. Yes. But I think Amunet Black needs to be here because Daddy likes the metal.
She'll be the maid of honor.
Okay, that would make a lot of sense. So I'm guessing Goldface is going to be the.
Oh, I like a darling.
So best man is going to be Goldface. Is what you're saying?
No, he's going to be best daddy.
Best daddy. Okay.
Yeah.
Now when they say "I do" and they go to kiss the bride, is that going to be to where they say, "Daddy likes the metal. Daddy likes the metal. Do you like the metal? I like the metal."
No, that's when what's gonna happen. Felicity and Oliver someone show up from the afterlife and interrupt again, and
married.
Yeah, no, what's so funny that I still can't believe that people don't realize that Felicity basically offed herself in the series finale era just so that she could be with Oliver. Like Felicity is dead in the future of her crime.
That's why it's such a cool Earth.
That's why it's the best Earth. They're not tempting with it.
We have Goldface and no Felicity. How much better could it get?
I don't know why Felicity didn't ask for this to happen to her. Because I think Reverse Flash would have done this to her. I think that would have been a better fit, personally.
Wow.
I don't know. But the thing is, here's my issue. The after credit, we're going to see Allegra say this to Alfred.
Suit me up, Uncle Alfred.
But they casted the movie.
They're bringing it back. They're going to have Allegra be Batgirl. What are you talking about?
Oh, we're just switching Latinas now. That's what we're doing, Jordan. Oh, wow.
Why do you have an Alicia Silverstone clip just saved on your computer?
No, this is all the stuff we have on our video.
Don't drag me into this. You're the one who uploaded. I don't have no clip of her.
Tell me more about how Andrew has been enabling your problem.
He's been enabling so many problems.
Can we trust him?
I think we need to show CG all the clips we have. So let's just.
Well, I think I actually do have, because see, you know how he uploads clips from the Flash set. We actually have exclusive footage of this is Grant running away from Canada.
Stream.
Huh? What did you say?
Said, I've seen that a million times on your stream.
Of course, because it's true.
Wow, you have seriously leveled up.
There's so many clips you can pull for that.
Yeah, I cannot wait for everyone who watched Stargirl on Wednesday when, because, yeah, I mean, the trailer's already confirmed. I'm not spoiling anything, but yeah, Starman does say level up, and every Flashman is going to grow.
Oh, God. Because Lego has known the triumphs and defeats, epic highs and lows of high school football.
That means you haven't known the triumphs and defeats, the epic highs and lows of high school football. But you will.
When the fuck is Riverdale season 7 going to start filming in Canada? I haven't seen anything about that.
Let me check and see if there's a date for that yet. I don't recall hearing one.
Because KJ shaved his head.
He shaved his head?
Yeah, well, not the way I did it, of course, just sitting in the bathroom, having you, but he trimmed up all of his hair, he has a buzz cut.
No date on the slate yet.
Can you imagine if it got axed?
I mean, that cliffhanger. I mean, what's so funny? They basically did their own crisis during the Riverdale season finale.
If you say so. No one's going to know if you're right because no one watched it.
I'm sick of that.
There was somebody I saw who watched Riverdale season 1, and then they watched the latest season finale of the show without knowing what the hell was going on, just to see what was happening.
Wow.
They were like, what the fuck is this show?
Is this person still alive? Is this person
I think the person's still alive to tell the tale. Oh yeah, Captain America fucks. That's true. Yeah. Apparently. Well, that's because Andrew didn't learn the epic.
Can we all stop with my name is not Andrew? Look what you've done, Steve. Now everyone's gonna be like, Andrew.
I understand that you wanted to have this cool nickname and you thought you'd call yourself Andy, but
we know
the truth is out there now.
I don't know what truth, but there's a truth out there.
This will never, ever, ever happen. At least the second part.
I'm already dressed up as a Jedi, though, in the Star Wars movies.
Why the fuck do I have to dress up? Why do I have to be a turtle? Why the fuck do I have to be a turtle?
Early on in this show, you would pull up the foam.
You mean the thing?
Yeah, the foam. Yeah, that, because you would pull that, because I remember going back and watching some older live streams of In This Multiverse, and you would randomly pull up and go, I give that a high 3. And you would have that on your hand. So he's not wrong.
I don't want to look like a fucking turtle.
Do you know what'll be awesome? Is next year you go to San Diego Comic-Con or some other major event, and you get there, and you go get your press pass, and on it actually says Andrew.
If that ever happens, I'm gonna seriously fly to Canada. You did that. I will.
He won't be there. He'll be down in the bayou at that point with his alligators.
I will chase him to the bayou then, because I'm like, I do not Andrew's a nice name. I'm not saying that. It's just that I had to fight to get my name legally changed to Andy. So it's like
I had to go through a name change process. I understand. It was a struggle here. I get it.
But that's why Riverdale doesn't have a starting date. And that means that I'm betting a Riverdale season won't. I wouldn't be sorry if it's a summer show at this point.
Probably.
If they're not filming, if they're not even filming in September.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. It's a show I rarely pay attention to, so I don't even really have. I probably have a contact on the show because I've got contacts from shows in the past that have moved on to other projects, but I don't know who they are. Because I never say to someone "Oh, are you working on Riverdale?" That never comes up in conversation.
Oh my god! I just made that connection. I didn't even realize.
I made that point too. I'm like, someone commented something. I said, "Yeah, so he's gonna kidnap her parents, go to Leanne Yu. She's gonna build a team to go find him." That's what's gonna happen.
Random.
Well, Adrian Chase. He's on She-Hulk.
Is he?
Yes, he was in episode 2 this week. He walked in, and as soon as he walks in the door, I'm like, oh my god, he's 10 steps ahead of all of us.
I want to address this for a moment.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
I sorry. Blah, I messed up.
Okay.
Where was it at?
Here. Scott Edwards says, I disagree. They can explain Sarah being there off screen. She's a Justice League member, needs to be there. Letters can get over himself. Though, here's the thing. Just because she's a JL member, it doesn't mean she has to be anything in season 9. Because again, first of all, yeah, I mean, Letters fan can get over themselves, but they're not. They're gonna, they're gonna join in other fans who always harasses Eric on Twitter and Bull and be like, why didn't you do this? So that's why I'm like, if they bring in any heroes, like I think Tyler is a safe bet. I think Breck would be easy. Chris Williams, if his show does not get picked up, you know, but it's like, yeah, I don't. But again, it's not impossible that this could happen, but it depends on what the COVID health guideline teams say about it. I wouldn't be surprised if the series is some sort of like a team up with heroes from other shows or something.
Yeah,
like that would be the time to do it.
Fight.
But the only thing I would have a problem with that is you're then kind of encouraging a lot of people to get this delusion that their show might come back in some way. Because it's the finale, there's going to be a big hubbub about it.
Well, I mean, that's fan perception. Sorry, go on.
I think the Flash finale has to, first of all, be more focused on the Flash cast's final conclusions to the story. We find out how Allegra and Chester, get married. We find out why Iris and Barry help Allegra and Chester get married. We find out what Caitlin got them for their wedding gift. We need the important stories covered in the finale. And you don't have time for the riffraff unless Oliver and Felicity are there to give them a gift for their.
I don't even get second billing on my own show. I cannot believe.
I honestly didn't even notice till just now. He called you Andrew. I thought it said Andy. I read it wrong. But then Triple X says, "So Andy's leveled up." Yes. To the headline, it's actually Kitty Pryde. Get it right. It's not Cyclops. What are you talking about? Okay. What happened to Gleek the Monkey? What happened?
We'll never find out. He's running around in that damn warehouse just creating havoc. He's knocked over Oliver's display case like 11 times.
Good.
Reza has had to go back, clean up the mess, put it back all the time.
Here's this is another thing that Mark Guggenheim did before he finished his time in the franchise. Like he did the whole Diggle Green Lantern thing, and then the Glee thing, and so on, and then like he basically just said whatever show wants to pick up the ball, go for it. But it's like, but then it's like you're telling fans to basically go after all the other showrunners, be like, you have do the Gleek thing or do the Green Lantern thing and so on, because Mark Guggenheim did it. It's like, well, it's not our problem. He's the one who dropped it.
He's the one who left.
Yeah.
And then Adrian Chase, he killed himself and woke up in Marvel. That's what happened.
That's wow. That's quite an ending.
I mean, yeah. Imagine if the extended cut of the season 5 finale, he kills himself and then he wakes up in that suit and then he just forgets it and just walks into She-Hulk's office and says, "Hey, I'm 10 steps ahead of you."
This would be one of the most expensive episodes of the Flash season 9 if this happens, because you have to bring back 9 series regulars. And you also bring up Donald Faison, who is already an expensive actor at this point. Has
he already been cast as another show? I think he's already been.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like, again, at this point, I don't think it will happen because all the actors are now getting too busy. And I'm like, at this point,
and it's taking away from the Flash season 9.
Yeah,
that would be just to help with the fact that they fucked up the ending of Legends.
Yeah. If any hero from other shows shows up, it has to be only to service the principle of Barry's, story or whatever.
This is fantastic. Exactly.
Didn't Walter die?
No. Walter popped up in that season 2 episode as a bank manager or something, and then he was just gone. And then, of course, she was gone for a long time.
And then, when she came, I remember when they announced that she was coming back, I think in season 7 or 8, and they were because I love that Reza got her own little fandom and so on because I think they were supposed to do more with her in season 1.
I don't mean to brag, but that was almost entirely on me because every time for like 2 years, someone would ask questions about the show, and they're like, "Oh, who do you think the big villain to be?" And like on like larger Twitter accounts, and I'd be like, "Oh, Razor the Maid." Like they gotta bring her back somehow.
She comes back as
then more and more people started asking about her.
Sure.
Then Walter went to Krypton and became General Zod.
There you go. Yeah, he
was awesome. I think you would love the show, Jordan.
Yeah, I'm just busy. Sorry.
Can't get Jordan to take on good shows like The Boys. You think he's going to take on another Superman-related show?
He's got a point there. Nah.
I am so fucking excited to get to the season to get caught up because Jeffrey D. Morgan is going to be in season 4. That is fucking amazing.
I got a little cranky this week when I saw that because I was supposed to go to Toronto, and one of the things I was going to do when I went to Toronto is look for The Boys set. And yeah, he's going to be on the show, and now I'm not going to be going, and I'm a little cranky about that.
I could see this happening.
This is so dark. He put him down.
He came in and said, "Fuck Gleek, get out of here." They axed the Wonder Twins show or the movie, so it makes sense. Also, now Fernando, this is perfect. Reza and the Canaries single-handedly saves the Arrowverse. Point.
Yeah, what do you think about that, CG?
What?
Instead of Mia, you would have Reza. I mean, she's busy doing Walker Independence anyway.
I think that's probably a pretty good trade-off.
Yeah.
Her
around like Deathstrokes, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want a show where we see from the insurance company's point of view in all these cities the havoc that all of these scenes have cost the cities. And we just hear them constantly complaining about these assholes running around and blowing stuff up.
Oh, and how powerless they must feel.
Constant destruction in Star
You get the opening picture. You see like your main character. He's like an insurance adjuster for the city or something. And just, you don't even see him right away because he's behind 9 piles of paper higher than his head. And these are just for blown out windows on cars from Barry.
When he runs.
Yeah.
He's an asshole. He's an asshole. Think about it. Like, does the city pay for that, or do you have to pay that out of pocket? Because the insurance doesn't cover the Flash running through and busting your windows.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, like, replacing windows is not cheap.
Yeah, that probably just vanished.
That ain't happening. No. What happened to Artemis? I can tell you what happened to Artemis. They completely forgot about her and said, fuck it.
Oh, thank God, because she was, I call her Fakemus. So.
Well, I mean, they had the whole thing in the season 6 premiere. Flashing back, we had, God, what's her name? I'm forgetting her name. Daughter of Ra's al Ghul. Not
Talia.
Not Talia. Nissa. Nissa said she was going to go look for her, and then nothing was ever said again. I feel either there was a scene shot they cut that explained that she was dead, or they just completely said, "Bah, who cares?" Because they just never mentioned it again.
Good, because she was horrible.
There you go. I'm confused between HBO Max and HBO channels. Zaslav is just going after things HBO. Well, Zaslav owns all of it. And so Zaslav's going after the stuff on HBO Max that isn't working because they're going to combine both services. HBO is safe. Anything HBO Max, it's different. It's a different thing entirely. Because House of the Dragon's HBO. So that was completely safe.
You got to renew for season 2. And I'm sure, here's the thing. Just because we haven't started hearing a lot about the Discovery cutoffs, it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Yeah. It's going to happen. Not everything on Discovery is going to make its way into the new streaming service. Like, that there has to be, some balance. But
I disagree with that because those shows all cost them like $7 and a Chipotle gift card to make. So
a Chipotle gift card, geez.
They're all they are is money making.
They literally just repurpose studios. Like once a show, like they literally like
We don't need studios. Those shows are filmed on like the corner beside a McDonald's in the alley underneath a Burger King.
they have, because me and my wife actually watched some Food Network shows on Discovery Plus. Surprisingly,
Why?
Because we're bored and it's interesting to kind of see people fuck up and do.
You
stuff.
you'd rather see that than The Boys?
I'm not sitting there reacting to it. We're sitting here on our phones, just bored out of our mind, eating dinner and just sitting around. We're not doing anything productive. There's a lot of times we don't.
The Boys is a great show for quality time.
It doesn't matter because she's not going to like it, and I don't want to watch it. And plus, too, at any point, she'll fucking fall asleep. So if we're actually watching a show, she falls asleep, then okay, then we're just sitting around. So we just watch monotonous stuff.
So your part of the problem is what you're saying.
Yes, no. What I'm trying to get to is there is a set.
I can't be here with this guy.
Whatever. You can leave. There's a baking set. The point I'm trying to get to, the money saving of it. They have a set that they probably, I think, have 4 or 5 or 6 different shows that use the same set, and they have different show names, but they use the same set, so they don't have to build a new set for all these different shows. Like they literally, it's a baking, like kids baking champion. Yeah, Kids Baking Champion, Halloween Baking Champion, Christmas Baking Champion. Like they have all these different baking champion shows in the same set. And they just film it at different times. But they don't have to go to a new location to do it. So his joke about $7, he's not really wrong because they literally just use the same sets for a lot of these shows. Yeah. So they save money. So,
and again, I feel like a lot of the shows that Extra Mite are trimming off. And so like, if it's not again, I feel bad for the people who work on these shows and that don't have physical copies of their own show. But if people aren't watching them, they're not going to pay to stream them. Here's really brought up something interesting. Do we want to? How about we give them some fun news? You know, this week this was a very emotional show. So D23 is happening in 2 weeks.
And we will be doing a live coverage of the Marvel, Star Wars, and is it Fox?
That just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, but we're doing a live coverage panel of the Marvel, Star Wars, and what is it, Fox stuff? It's the 2-hour panel they're doing on Saturday. That Saturday, dear D23.
Yeah.
We'll be doing a live.
No episode on Friday.
No episode on Friday. We're just doing a Saturday show when that
comes.
You
quitters.
Yeah, we're quitters. Yeah.
How are we quitters?
Prop up your numbers, make you guys famous, and you just quit.
We're moving the show to Saturday for that.
We're just doing We're just doing a coverage of a panel. When we did the panel coverage of the Marvel Studios panel, over 6,000 views. We had around 200 concurrent viewers the whole time during the panel.
That's like CW numbers.
Exactly.
I didn't see that.
We were almost as good as the Flash.
I think more people watch us than they watch Legends of Tomorrow.
I hope so.
I'm sorry I'm being so shady about Legends tonight. It's just like I am very annoyed that it's like there's all this like entitlement that somehow Flash is supposed to fix Legends. But it's like it's not Flash's fault that they did that series.
That's when the panel is on Saturday. That's what I'm saying.
We're not. Yeah, we will talk about things that happen on the Marvel gaming panel from Friday on Saturday. So we will have a different time for Saturday because that's when the panel will happen. So, but just book your schedule if you want great live coverage.
Season 5 Flash cowl and shame.
That's season 5.
Now I know that Gotham Knights is not shooting in Vancouver, but do we know when Gotham Knights is shooting, or we don't even know?
No, I mean, I never looked 1 microsecond into it. I mean, it would have to be shooting right now because isn't it supposed to be a fall show?
Nope, mid-season. It's not air next week.
Oh, okay.
It's the Kid Choice Awards.
I mean.
I'm telling you, you guys are all going to be eating your words when this time next year we're talking about how Gotham Knights got robbed because it only won 7 Emmys instead of 8.
Or it won 7 instead of 12. It should have won all 12 nominations it was put in.
Yeah. I'm telling you right now, you're going to eat your words, man. Best actor, best actress.
Best and Multiverse has more viewers.
Actress, best director, best writing, best cinematography, best Dance scene, best.
best use of a Batman cowl.
Yep. I mean, it's pretty much winning them all.
Best use of shitty teenagers. Best use of Joker's daughter. That doesn't seem like Joker's daughter. It looks really stupid.
I mean, we haven't seen anything. Come on.
The trailer, it looks so stupid. I'm tired of it.
Just like the clothes she's wearing. What does it look?
I just went to her, like just the way she's acting in there. I was like, no, I don't believe it. 1 second. Plus, I actually went back and watched that stream. A part of us, and we were really
How excited will you be if they make the Gotham Knights verse?
I would shoot myself.
You're expecting me to take care of your channel when you're dead? That's what you're saying. I don't know how to.
My wife would probably shut it down.
I don't know how to fucking edit reaction videos. I don't even know like how to put my own screen up.
My wife would probably make a fake crying video, and then she's happy that I'm gone, and then she'll shut the channel down.
Jesus Christ.
But I mean, literally, like the Gotham Knight verse. Ugh.
Yeah, you can't just say Gotham verse. That's not good enough. It has to be Gotham Knights verse.
Yeah, and make sure it's not connected to the Gotham Knights video game verse. If they ever, I don't doubt they will do anymore.
Okay, then it's going to be the Gotham Knights verse on the CW.
Dare to defy.
This wouldn't be incorrect. I would do.
But you did say that at one point as a joke.
I mean, this is not inaccurate. I would do what? I would do 10. my mother.
Okay.
But I just this. I don't. Why would they? Wait, how could Gotham Knights do a crossover with itself? I don't understand this.
Gotham Knights, the show will cross over with the game, is what he's saying, I think.
So you're saying that she's just going to show, like they're going to just show up in like a video game and that they look live action?
And they'll have the actual good versions of these characters in the Gotham Knights game show up in the shitty show.
You know what's so funny? You know how many times, anytime I've been in a news story, because like when the show was announced, it was like one of the press notes was that, it has no ties to the upcoming video game. But then that was a sentence I kept writing in so many articles that I'm like, I've written that statement about 25 different times this year because like it would just.
I have to point out, it's a little bit of a joke, but it also is a fact of statement. They say right now it's not connected to the video game, but we were hearing that Superman and Lois was connected to the Arrowverse for 2 years, and it's not. So, what do I believe from these guys?
I mean, literally, in both Gotham Knights, Bruce dies. So, I mean...
Obviously, this particular comment didn't age too well.
Man, what is Diggle gonna do? What's Diggle gonna do in season 3? That's like they
he's gonna walk around in that same jacket, and he's gonna just talk.
He's gonna make subtle references that are actually not. He's gonna make subtle references that are actually not connected to the Earth Prime.
We're gonna see him.
Seem like he is, but he's not.
He's gonna be at a fast food restaurant, and they're gonna be like, he's gonna be ordering a meal, and he's gonna like, yeah, I'll just get a so and so meal to go, and they'll be like, would you like to upgrade that to onion rings? And he'll be like, rings. Let me tell you about rings.
Oh my god!
They'll hand the tray to him, and it'll be all green, and he's just gonna snap.
We have some photos from Fake Check real fast before we end the show tonight. He went to a con.
Oh God, forbid that this would ever happen. This wouldn't make any sense.
It wouldn't?
Because Bruce already has a daughter on that Earth.
Oh.
You're thinking too much about it, Andrew.
I mean, I watched the show, so I know things. Yeah.
So let me pull this up, share screen real fast. Let's see. I want to do. Yes.
I can play another clip in the meantime.
Okay. So Jake saw Tara Strong.
Aww, that's so sweet.
That's awesome. I love that, and I love the picture behind her too with Miss Minutes, Raven, Harley, Bubbles. Is that fucking? Yeah, that's whatever pony she fucking plays in Timmy Turner. Fucking All the messages.
You've been DMing with him this whole time.
Yes. There we go. Erica Durant.
Oh my
That's
god!
awesome.
If there's a photo of Tom Welling coming,
Oh,
I'm gonna.
okay, you just wait. God damn it! Why does he keep fucking doing this? You piece of shit! I'll fucking shoot you in the face. Not you. The fucking Twitter. This is awesome.
Ayo.
That's awesome. There's a divider there, obviously, but that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, I saw that at a couple of the conventions recently that some of these photo ops happen with a divider in the middle. I'm like, this is. I mean, I understand, certain people
awesome.
feel that way and all that stuff, but just don't do the convention. Just don't do the convention if you can't give the person the full experience.
That's a voice actor, Fred Tatasciore. I think it's pronounced Fred Tatasciore is awesome. Are you ready, Andy?
Oh my god.
Tom fucking Welling.
He
got Tom.
You got him to touch you. That sounds.
It's inappropriate, but yes, he got it. I'm glad that he saved that one for
a shoulder massage.
He sure is. Yeah.
So upset. I'm gonna die on this fucking planet and never get to be Tom Welling. Like I'm destroyed and devastated.
Now, see, unfortunately, fake Jake or Joypad Jake. Now, you didn't get to meet the original Sarah actress, so it is a failure of that con. But you did pretty good.
I'm so jealous right now. I'm so jealous right now. And if stop it. I'm gonna crap myself.
You're okay. Well, guys, it's been fun. We have reached 2 hours. Want to thank, of course, our special guest, Mr. Discovery Canada here, for joining the stream.
Discovery
Graphs. He has now elevated himself above Bayou Graphs.
Wait, have I been merged with two? Oh no.
Yes, you've been merged with the Bayou. Now you're Discovery Graphs. Of course, we are Chainsaw Reacts and Andy, not Andrew. Andy. All of our social medias will be in the description if you guys want to follow us. And it's been a fun episode. We had a lot of stuff covered, so make sure you
go back. Emotional stuff to talk about. So hopefully next week will be, hopefully we'll go back to little She-Hulk maybe next week.
Make sure you cancel. Make sure you cancel, guys. And as you know, we always play this clip at the end of every show because you guys deserve a little cicada in your lives. We all do. Our Lord and Savior.
Alive Christ me.
Our Lord and Savior. Gracie. So let's get into that, guys. Cicada, take it away.
Metas killed your parents, Gracie. They all deserve to die.
Don't believe him, Grace.
I wish it held on him just a second longer. Duh.
Yeah, we'll be back with episode 28 next week, and then the D23 we will the D23, because we know when it's gonna happen. You will probably see it pop up.
Yes.
But yeah, show up, tell your friends, tell your mothers and fathers, and your cousins and your aunts and your uncles and your
tell Tom
siblings,
Welling.
Enemies. Tell your enemies.
If you tell Tom Welling and he won, I'm gonna have to look pretty, and that's impossible.
How do you know Tom Welling hasn't been watching all this time?
He might be. He might be Triple X.
He might be Hero's Journey.
He could be Hero's Journey, Triple X. He could be anybody. You don't know.
Listen. If I ever find out that Tom has been watching the show and this is what I've been looking like, I may actually never go on camera again. I will tell everyone, because we had such a fun time with the Comic-Con stream, so we want to do that for 2023. And if you guys show up and support, it gives us more encouragement to keep doing it with other events, because I think
Hero's Journey is saying he's not Tom, but that's just exactly the type of thing I'd expect Tom to say.
Yeah, Tom wouldn't reveal himself.
Yeah. Here they're kidding, heroes. They're kidding. But next week, episode 28, and then the 23 stream, and then we're almost at episode 30 for fuck's sake, and then Gotham in October.
Yeah, for all we know, that picture with Tom could have been Tom taking a picture with an actor he loves. We don't know.
We're still talking about the damn photo. I'm jealous. So.
Okay.
The one where he's massaging somebody?
Yes. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Crazy.
You lost. You fucking lost.
Wait, what? Ezra, no. No. God, no.